Good afternoon and welcome. I appreciate all of your Zoom etiquette right now to remain muted. When the seniors speak, they'll come on camera and unmute themselves. My name is Lindsay Bowman, and as part of my role in coordinating the Centers for Experiential Learning and Innovation, I oversee the Senior Internship Program. The Senior Internship Program was initiated at Harrisburg Academy in 1993 to provide seniors with an opportunity to explore, investigate, and gain firsthand experience shadowing and working alongside professionals in an area of interest. As you will hear today, the seniors were able to do amazing and meaningful work during this time. Their work is reflective of the students I have been lucky enough to know and work with the last few years. Their internships were as interesting and diverse as they are, ranging from on-site work to virtual work and all points in between. Seniors, I have thoroughly enjoyed working with you through this process, brainstorming with you about opportunities, and reading your journals especially. I know I'm not alone in saying that your presence and leadership in the halls of Harrisburg Academy will be greatly missed. Sponsors on the call, thank you for welcoming the seniors to your team. We really appreciate your partnership. And parents, as always, we so appreciate your support as you see your seniors doing quite different work than when perhaps we last worked together in middle school. I'm excited for everyone here today to learn more about the internship experiences, so let's get started. The first two have other things they need to do later, so I'm going to go out of order a bit, but primarily we'll be going in alpha order. So first up, Morgan.
Hi. So I interned at Bath Fitter in their marketing department and graphic design department. And my goals, I actually had started junior year right before COVID. So I actually have around like 80 hours working there. And my goal was to get better at software like Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, and seeing how a marketing department incorporates art into their work. And so I had watched videos over my junior year while I was there just to kind of understand the process behind working in those software. And then when I went back senior year, I really wanted to focus on actually making something in the software. So I focused on Illustrator mostly, and I was assigned to do a holiday post. So I would do Thanksgiving post or happy holidays. And I would incorporate their mascot from Bath Fitter, Homespire, and Kitchen Saver. So there was a tub that had a smiley face on it, and I would alter their position and make them wear festive stuff. The only downside I had to my experience was I felt like I didn't get to interact with the marketing department as much as I wanted to. And that could be because of COVID, but I really had to advocate to get more work there. So if I could change anything about the experience, I would rather be more involved with the department than having to work solo every time.
Thank you, Morgan. I will add, if anyone has questions, you are welcome to put them in the chat and I can relay them to the students during this time. But if there are no questions right away, or if you think of something later, I'm happy to email the students to share your thoughts. But thank you, Morgan. Okay, our next senior to present about their internship experience is Pranita.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pranita, and for my internship this year, I had originally planned to intern at the Klein Health Clinic Street Medicine Program, which provides care to the underserved in the greater Harrisburg area. Through this internship, I had hoped to gain hands-on experience in the medical field while also helping to reduce healthcare inequity in the Harrisburg area. Unfortunately, things do not always go as planned, and due to certain restrictions, I plan to intern there during the summer instead. Though that experience did not work out as I intended, I was able to find something new that I was passionate about to work on. For my internship, I spearheaded the Harrisburg Academy Seniors Helping Seniors project. Working with Mr. Murphy, the head of the middle school and upper school division here, I developed an initiative to help senior citizens and eventually the general public to secure the ever-elusive COVID-19 vaccination appointments. When the COVID-19 vaccination distribution first began, it was challenging for people to schedule appointments as they would fill up so quickly. And since I'm passionate about making healthcare more accessible, I decided to work with other seniors to find vaccination appointments for senior citizens. We talked with local doctors to gain more information and insider tips to help us to learn how to schedule vaccinations. And then we released a Google form to take requests for vaccination appointments. Overall, we were able to schedule appointments for many people, not only senior citizens, but much of the Harrisburg Academy community as well, within a day of their request and accommodating any scheduling changes they had. This project allowed me to do something for the community in a time of struggle. We were able to alleviate some of the stress put on individuals by the pandemic and help them put it behind them, making our community more safe. In addition to this initiative, I also virtually shadowed 11 doctors, learning about their career path and specialties, as well as the challenges of being a doctor. This helped me to gain more understanding about which medical specialty I would like to pursue in the future. Through my hybrid-like internship, I was able to achieve my purpose of gaining a better understanding of the career I plan to pursue, while also using my passion for healthcare and equity to serve the Harrisburg community.
Thank you, Pranita. Very important work, definitely. All right, I don't see anything in the chat, but again, that doesn't mean that you can't ask anything later. I'm happy, again, to relay messages to our students. So we will get into alpha order, and our next presenter is Michael.
Hi. So for my presentation, I wanted to contribute in a way I personally could, but at the same time do it in a way that was safe for me, because due to code restrictions, I couldn't really contribute as I normally would. So this year, what I decided to do was teach kids in Nigeria virtually over Zoom meetings weekly. And I learned a lot about the teaching process, probably more than I did about coding itself. I learned that it's necessary to create lesson plans, otherwise you won't know what you're talking about for an entire hour. And I also learned the importance of engaging with students, not only between the teacher and the student, but also between the students themselves. Because if you can initiate communication between the students, it really adds to learning value. I had a kind of a hard time getting the students themselves to be more outgoing. But if you get the students to talk amongst themselves and maybe, crack a joke here and there, it becomes a lot easier to teach. Definitely a big thing I also learned was the importance of communicating with students outside, because it's very easy to skip over a student or completely ignore their progress. And if you communicate with a student outside, you can bring them back up to where everybody else is and smoothly move as a unit. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I can't relate at all. I love that. Okay, next up, River.
Hi, my name is River, and my internship was creating and donating artwork to Homeland Hospice, where hospice patients will have the art I made put in their rooms. My sponsor was Lori Murray, and she helped me through the process of everything. I found this internship online by looking up art-related volunteer opportunities because I wanted to do something art-related after the first internship I was at stopped allowing me to work there because of COVID. The first internship I had was volunteering at a cat shelter, where I learned useful skills the same way I did with my current internship. I learned more about different art techniques after doing a lot of paintings and drawings. My favorite part was making the art and seeing how it turned out. If I could change anything about it, I would try to get better at managing my time. Overall, I'm glad to have had the opportunity to work for Homeland Hospice and gain more experience and knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, River. I'm sure all of the people that received your artwork were most appreciative. Okay, next up, Julia.
Hello, my name is Julia, and for my internship, I worked for the school art department as an intern and teaching assistant. Our middle school and upper school art teacher, Mr. Kopis, reached out to me in early 2021 about interning in the art room. and helping out with various organizational things, as well as being a teaching assistant in some of his classes. Some of my earlier duties involved organizing the art room and making it easier to find paint colors, paintbrushes, and other art supplies. My favorite part of this internship, however, was sitting in on the 7th and 9th grade art classes. Teaching has always been something I've been interested in on and off, and I learned that I really enjoy the environment of a classroom. I enjoyed helping the students through their final projects and watching their ideas come to life, and it was really inspiring to watch them grow throughout the class and help them with their ideas and guiding them through these projects. And I really learned that teaching is something that I might be interested in the future, if my career plans do change.
Thank you, Julia. I'm sure Mr. Kopis was very glad to have your assistance. Again, if you have any questions for any of our students, feel free to drop them in the chat. But I don't see any right now, so we will continue on. Our next student to present is Annika.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Annika, and I work for Pennsylvania Ballet Academy, a ballet school in Camp Hill. I started dancing at PBA when I was about 15 years old and became more involved 2 years ago when I started volunteering as an assistant ballet teacher for children with special needs. This year, I decided to increase my presence in my dance school by assisting Miss Ashley Cunningham, PBA's administrative coordinator. With her guidance, I worked on tracking the costume inventory, ensuring costumes were in good condition and organized properly. I even learned how to steam costumes without burning myself. Apart from working with the inventory, I was also given the opportunity to choreograph a piece for a group of 8 girls with special needs. Their concentration and excitement encouraged me to be a better leader and present a piece in which they all shined. Thank you.
Thank you, Annika. Our next senior is Van.
Hi, my name is Van. I interned with HRG Incorporated, which is an engineering firm. I actually shadowed Mr. Sean Fabian, who is a project manager at HRG. It was a really, really interesting internship. I learned so much about everything in his field and everything that he does. I learned that I really want to go outside in whatever I do in my future, because through the internship, I got the opportunity to go into the field with Sean and visit some of the places that are currently in construction and see how what he's doing is affecting those places. Yeah. Sorry, I lost my notes here. All right, here we go. Yeah, I also learned a lot about organization and people skills and how important those things are to any job, but especially his job. I've never seen a more organized inbox than Mr. Fabian's. It's impressive. But overall, I learned a lot from this internship, and I'm really glad I had the opportunity to do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Van. I think your sponsor and I would be great friends with our organized inboxes. And I know he's here today. And he shared a really lovely anecdote with me early on in the process of how much he enjoyed working with Van because you were taking such an interest in his work. And he probably told you more about what he does than his own family. So I love that story. And it just shows the connections that you were able to build with Sean and through the process. Okay. Our next senior is Paige.
Hi, my name is Paige, and for my internship, I worked with a company called Pool Core. Pool Core does pool openings, closings, maintenance, cleanings, anything like that. My supervisor was Doug Bowers. He's one of the owners, and I found this internship opportunity through Miss Bowman because one of the seniors last year actually worked with them as well. And I also thought this would just be interesting to me because having been a swimmer and a lifeguard, I was interested to learn about how pool systems are set up and how they work. So a typical day for us, we would have usually 4 pools to open in a day. We would start with removing the cover, and we would kind of clean and fold that as we go. We would also remove the return plugs, set up the pump and filter system, fix any leaks that might have been there. install ladders and handrails. If the pool was dirty, we would sometimes have to vacuum it. And then at the very end, we would add in the chemicals. So we would add a shock of chlorine and algicide. One of my favorite things that I got to do was I got to use a blowtorch to adjust some of the pipes on one of the filter systems. And overall, I think I have learned a lot, and I'm grateful to have had this opportunity.
Thank you, Paige. Yes, Doug is a great partner and reached out to me because he really appreciated the Academy intern from last year, and he wanted Academy students again. And I was happy to connect him with a few. So thank you, Paige. And you'll hear more about Pool Corps in a little bit. Our next senior is Abigail.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Abigail. I did my internship with Aquaponics Emporium and Specialty Meats, which is a company that the father of my childhood friends is starting up. His name is Steve Hannon. He's my sponsor. And they're focusing on growing crops and raising fish with as few chemical and modifications as possible. Not because there's something wrong with chemical fertilizers or genetically modified plants, but simply because sometimes there's side effects. And for the fish, there's no reason of there being quite a bit of heavy metal in the water recently, and in fish, there's mercury especially. And actually, fish tend to be the fish near the digestive tract of the stomach tends to be discarded because it has mercury in it. And so growing fish in a small hatchery you can monitor the water and negate that. I've been planting seeds for growing and watering and monitoring them. I've also been doing research and reading on the various ways that you can set up a self-sustaining system where the fish eat detritus from the plants that isn't used, and then the fish poop and fertilize the plants in a cycle and whatnot. It's been a lot of fun, and I mean, I've sweated a lot more than I really like sweating, which is none. But I've learned a lot of stuff, and I'm hoping to continue working with them and see the seeds that I planted actually grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail. I'm sure they would like to have your continued support and assistance in those efforts. Our next senior presenting is Seth.
Hi, I worked with Daffler Heating, Cooling, and Solar, which is a company that supplies air conditioning, heating, and solar panels to the local area. My sponsor was Justin McClure. So we came in contact because one, he's the host dad of one of my close friends, and also because my parents rent space from him for their own business. So that's how I came in contact with him. Every week I'd have to read a book, and we would talk about investment and expansion of the company and business ethics. I went out to the field one time to see how they install different systems because of weather. It was not easy to do this, so we only had one day to do it. But I also went to business meetings to watch Mr. McClure talk to other clients and other potential business investors. And it was really, really a great experience to learn how to talk to people, not people, but potential investors. And it was just a really good experience overall. And honestly, I think my favorite part was probably learning about how to look through an annual quarter finance report. That's just what the best part was, because I've never really been able to look at that stuff. So yeah, that was my internship.
Thank you, Seth. I know who to go to if I need advice on financial business models. An important skill, definitely. Our next presenter, let me make sure you're here. Yes, Elaine, joining us from abroad.
Hello, I'm Elaine. And my internship is at Grant Thornton, which is the 6th largest accounting firm in the United States and has 59 offices nationwide. And I'm interning at the Shanghai office and Business Risk Service Department. So from the 2 weeks I've worked there, I worked on like 2 projects. One is reading and determining the rationability of bright materials at an exhibition in a museum, which is basically doing market research of their equipment prices. And also another company is an online payment platform, which we do system checks, and also RCM report, which is a risk control matrix, which helps identify and rank the risks in the organization. So my daily work is basically just reading different materials and compare data from their systems. And my favorite part is afternoon snacks from my boss.
Thank you, Elaine. Sounds like you have a very nice boss. Afternoon snacks are lovely. Our next senior is Kayla.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kayla, and for my internship, I worked with my church, Turning Point Church in Mechanicsburg, and my sponsor was Pastor George Spangler, the pastor at my church. I've been doing church online since the beginning of COVID, and when I was thinking of ideas on what to do for my internship, I thought of my church in a way I could use something I'm passionate about, like art, to contribute to the service every Sunday. So I talked to my pastor, and we decided to do weekly Zoom meetings every Monday to discuss the sermon for each week. And my job was to prepare a cover design for each sermon that related to the message. I used the app Procreate and drew each design digitally using my iPad. I also created animations to go along with certain sermon covers that I designed, which helped bring them to life. Doing this also improved my animation skills and knowledge on how to use Procreate. Creating these designs was not only beneficial to me to help deepen my faith, but I also know it benefited my entire church community as well. The experience strengthened my time management skills and taught me how to work in a shorter period of time. Because each meeting was on Monday, all of my work had to be finished at least by Thursday or Friday in order to make time for it to be reviewed and added into the presentation before each service. This experience also showed me how to work with other people and prioritize their ideas above my own. My favorite part about the work I did was I was able to do it at home pretty much at my own pace. Although I did have specific deadlines to make, I was able to be flexible with the time I spent each day working on the designs.
Thank you, Kayla. Just a reminder, you can put any questions for the students in the chat, but we will continue on now. Our next senior presenting is Jacob.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jacob, and I had the opportunity to conduct my internship at the Dauphin County Courthouse under Judge Evans and Judge Morris. Through my internship, I got the ability to not only improve my work experience, but also expand my passions. It was my first time really working for someone where I had to be really consistent and reliable, where under Judge Evans, he made me do a lot of reports and some filing. So I had to use resources from the library and do things such as that to assist him that way. And I also got the ability to shadow him during any court hearings or anything like of that manner, which allowed me to absorb as much information as I could about the legal field, which is something I'm extremely interested in. And I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity. Also, Judge Morris, although it was mostly just shadowing, I saw a lot of different type of hearings there. And I saw the different methods in different types of cases. And I also got the ability to be interact with the judge and be able to discuss anything with them after the hearings. And it was a really great opportunity for my career goals and just developing experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Mr. Fabian put a great question in the chat for all of the seniors. So for those seniors still coming up presenting, if you want to consider that, and if you have any thoughts to share, we'd love to hear it. And if you've already presented, if you want to respond in the chat, feel free. But that's a great perspective to consider. Thank you, Mr. Fabian. Okay, our next senior is Joseph.
Hi, my name is Joseph, and I was also given the opportunity to internship with PoolCore, a family-owned pool care company. And personally, I was able to work both on-site with this opportunity, as well as on the company's website, which aligns with my future interests. I learned how to open and maintain pools for the first portion of my internship out on site with Dan and Doug, the two owners of the company. And on the latter half, I was able to work on the website of the company and work on it with the HTML code. During this time, I was taught about flexibility since I was working for PoolCore in multiple ways and did not have one set job title that would align with my work. Firstly, I was directly helping with the company's workforce on site. And secondly, I was helping with my more specific skill set and my knowledge of coding. And then it helped me grow personally as I learned a completely new topic about pools and how to open them, how to close them, and how to add different chemicals, test the water. And I personally added to my knowledge of coding by tackling certain obstacles, which I never had come across in my prior projects. And I also learned about pool systems and their functionality. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity as it made me grow as a person and branch off and learn something new.
Awesome. Thank you, Joseph. Our next senior is Caitlin.
Hello. So with my internship, I wanted to explore my interest in politics. So I interned with John Garamendi, a member of the House of Representatives representing California's 3rd District. So I was supposed to be in DC for the internship, but due to some unfortunate events in January, my parents were worried about like the safety there, like security concerns and whatnot. So I ended up doing it all virtually, but it was really fun. I worked more directly with Representative Garamendi's legislative assistant, T-Room. I don't know if he's on the call, but he was great. He was really helpful, and most of what I did was like research-based work for the congressman and looking at his past speeches, stuff like that. And I learned that people in politics, whether they're like representatives or senators or whatever, they actually do a lot more than I thought. I don't know what I expected going into this, but they do a lot of work. So I have a lot more respect for politicians now. And I just think I learned a lot overall. So great experience.
Thank you, Caitlin. Our next senior is Lindsay.
Hello. So for my internship, I decided to help my uncle's business. It is Shepherd's Driving School, which is located in Harrisburg. I became interested in helping them because I was unsure of the components that went into running a business and also the importance of teamwork within a company. My role during this time was to mostly organize paperwork, but also increase advertising. At first, I wanted to remake business cards and possibly a more cohesive website, but I actually ended up making posters to hang in stores and cafes around Harrisburg and Camp Hill. I actually thought that we could try to market towards younger people who already have their license but feel unconfident behind the wheel. And my family disagreed with me a little bit, which showed me the negative side of working with people you're close to, but there were also many positives. For example, I wanted to scan all documents into their main computer to make things easier to find, and they already trusted me to handle their paperwork, which made the process much easier. My favorite part of the internship was probably getting to work with family, as I usually do not help at all, and I learned a little more about the history on why my family started this business and how important it was to them. And to answer the question in the chat, I was actually going to work or have an internship for Lancaster Air Traffic Control for their storm radar management, but that's what I plan on doing in college. But after a spike in COVID cases, they changed their minds.
Thank you, Lindsay. Yes, she and so many others were extraordinarily flexible during this time. Our next senior to present is Annalise.
Hello, everybody. I am so incredibly excited to talk about my internship today. I started my internship in October of 2020, and after a month of onboarding, training, and logistics and setup, I was officially a marketing intern at Feazer's Food Distributors. Feazer's, as I mentioned, is a food distributor, meaning they're the ones responsible for getting our favorite products, snacks, foods, and meats from the factories and the farms to the restaurants, schools, nursing homes, theme parks, and many other destinations in the Mid-Atlantic region. Our marketing meetings consisted of 4 people, and they occurred twice a week. Riley, the other marketing intern, and I were active contributors to the team with both ideas and usable marketing content. I'm just going to rattle off a couple of the technical skills that I was able to gain from this internship. I was able to demonstrate an understanding of how to follow a creative brief. I collaborated on projects to promote brands. I implemented critiques of past assignments into future projects. I created social media content for Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and met the specific parameters required for those platforms. I achieved proficiency in Adobe Illustrator. I authored several published blogs, and the thing that I'm most proud of that I was able to learn was I utilized search engine optimization, keywords, and internal and external linking to enhance the Google ranking of the Feazer's website. While all of those skills will make my resume and LinkedIn look beautiful after this internship, the most valuable thing that I learned is not something you can put on a resume, and it's my supervisor Carrie's leadership style. She was incredibly kind and encouraging while delivering constructive criticism. A challenging thing I had to overcome was that while working for a company, you are not doing personal art projects or writing pieces. They have a purpose, and while it is fun to make things look pretty and follow your personal passions, if it doesn't fit the brand standards of the company or if it does not support the message required from the creative brief, it's just a waste of time and resources. And there were a few occasions where I spent hours on a project that didn't fit what the company needed. And I think I grew the most from those conversations and the feedback that I got at the times where I missed the mark than any other time in the internship. But in those times, Carrie always encouraged me to continue to take creative risks and follow through the process. Additionally, Carrie always remembered to express gratitude for the team and their hard work. And in any leadership position that I have in the future, I hope to implement her tone of leadership. And I will continue to intern at Feazer's through this summer, where I will gain more experience with content creation, interior design, merchandise design, and food photography as well. And so I started this internship a while ago, so I have over 115 hours built up towards this, and I cannot wait to continue working with them with a little bit more of a more consistent schedule this summer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annalise. Annalise, I have a special request. If you would, I know presentations aren't happening, but if maybe you drop a link or two in the chat to the blogs that you published. They were great fun to read, and I think our audience would love to see them too. And other seniors, if you have content to share, if you built a website that you're willing to share, if you contributed to a blog or have something that you're super proud of, if it's possible that you share in the chat, that is absolutely welcome. Our next senior to present is Fini.
Hello everyone, my name is Fini and I interned under my sponsor Zhang Ting. She's an operation director and an academic advisor at Certain Satisfaction International Education located in Pittsburgh. And she's also a third-year student at Pittsburgh University in a doctoral program for education. My internship is actually related to her research at this point to see what agencies can do to better help Chinese international students transit from their life in China to American universities. I contacted her through my own agency coordinator, Connie, because I wanted to find an internship opportunity related to international education. I'm interested in this field because that is personally relative to me, and I would like to learn more about its bigger picture in China. So my duty for this internship was to research 50 international education agencies, mostly based in China, and they all serve Chinese students, specifically into their undergraduate application services. For example, like what's their process to help Chinese high school seniors apply to colleges in the US, and how do the students rate their services afterward. I also designed a questionnaire for Chinese international students from the 12th grade to all undergraduate levels in order to compare their first-hand experiences with the data I collected from my own research based on the internet. I eventually collected data from 37 students. Since it was research-based, my favorite part of this internship was that I learned much more about this industry than ever before. And I think this will actually help me to be successful in my own college college experiences later. I also learned many skills in Google Sheet that makes the organizing and analyzing collected data process more effective. It has been a very interesting and meaningful experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Feeny. All right, our next senior is Ben.
Hello. Hi. So my name is Ben, and I have political internship. I worked for the George Scott for State Senate campaign. And my sponsor was Noah Kuttner, who was the call time manager. And call time is a process where the candidate calls possible donors and asks for donations. So I got to sit in on that experience, listen to him call, which is a very valuable experience for the field. So my duties were researching donors. So if we had current donors, say somebody donated, like a family friend, I would have to find their phone number and address so that we could contact them further and request another donation, let's say 3 months in the future. So that was cool. And then I also researched possible donors, which is going along lists. So if somebody endorsed George Scott, like who would do it? I don't know. Let's say the mayor. And somebody had donated to them, I would find them, get their information, put them on the call time list. So working for the call time manager made a lot of sense for me because every phone number they called, or not every, but a lot, I'd found in research. So that was pretty interesting. My favorite part of the internship was going to virtual events such as open houses or hearing other local politicians. So I got to hear from Lindsey Drew and Patty Kim. I'd say those were two of my favorites. They were very interesting to hear from. And also just to learn about who's in local government and who makes the rules around here. So yeah, it was a pretty good internship. Lots of valuable experience. I'll probably try and do another political internship in the future because I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Ben. Ben, you left out the part about the fundraising success of the campaign. Do you want to share that with everyone? I think it's really cool.
Oh yeah, we raised a lot of money. So we lost, which is unfortunate, but we raised over $2 million for a state senate campaign, which is really ridiculous. You don't need all that. But it meant that everybody who worked for the campaign got benefits paid and some extra pay afterwards, which is always really good to see. So yeah, it was a big success fundraising wise, not campaign wise.
Yeah, it was the most money raised for a state senate campaign ever, right?
Just in the state.
Just in the state, yeah. That's amazing. And I know they're very happy that you contributed to that. Our next senior is Amy.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy. For my internship, I work in a garment firm called Meiku Trading Company in Guangzhou. The purpose of this company is to design, create, and sell their own brand of clothing. My supervisor is the fashion designer of the company, who graduated from Beijing Institute of Fashion Technology. The supervisor told me that this internship is to promote the clothing of the new season. And the theme of this season's clothing is actually dance, which is something I'm really interested in. So my main duty is to pick enough fashion items from the company's warehouse and match them with the new season clothing. There are about like 20 new items this season, and there will be a partner. There was a partner with me, and my partner and I need to try on every possible combination of clothing we decided on, and we will make a final matching scheme. There was a photographer who took professional pictures for me and my partner wearing the new season clothing. Moreover, my supervisor requires us to show the new season clothing in a form of dance. So my partner and I made up a dance choreography by ourselves, and we recorded it. I remember the first day I went to work, the company designer introduced me to my partner, Vicky, who is just 2 years older than me. She showed me the new season clothing of the company. To be honest, it was not that pretty that I thought, but we have to make them look pretty on people. We picked a lot of fashion items such as pants, tops, and hats, and some jewelries. We picked those together from the company's warehouse for like 3 days. In conclusion, I feel like I have made the most of my specialties during this internship. This particular internship makes me feel that I'm actually a person who is useful to this society, and I can actually do something after I graduate from college. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. When Amy shared her reflection journal with me, she included pictures, and they're really outstanding. So congrats, Amy.
Thank you.
Our next senior is Alexa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alexa. And for my senior internship, I worked with Open Stage Harrisburg, which, as stated in their mission statement, is a regional professional theater and educational program dedicated to supporting a company of diverse artists to prevent diverse offerings of thought-provoking theater and educational activities in intimate settings. I primarily worked under Rachel Landon, who is the marketing manager at Open Stage and is the head of the costume and props department. She is also an incredibly talented performer in many of the productions at the theater. I wanted to work with Open Stage for my senior internship because I'll be studying musical theater in college and wanted the opportunity to get to experience and get perspective from behind the table and behind the scenes, as they're all skills that I'll inevitably need to use in college in a technical theater class and possibly beyond. I reached out to Open Stage because I had seen multiple of their productions, and I had done a workshop with the theater over the summer a couple years ago, and I loved their work. So I reached out to someone I knew at the theater who connected me with Rachel and was very kindly offered a position as a high school intern in March. And since then, I've been going into the theater 2 to 3 times a week. The theater is currently in the process of preparing for reopening to the public for live theater. So my work consisted of painting various set pieces, organizing music for rehearsals, putting together the library for their theater school students, organizing miscellaneous clothes and other costume pieces for storage, making props lists and doing research projects for upcoming productions, taking trips to the costume closet below Strawberry Square to search for the right pieces, and whatever other odd jobs were needed, even if that meant jumping around on a new stage to make sure the panels were leveled. I ultimately could not have asked for a better experience for my senior internship, and it's given me perspective that I didn't know I needed. As a performer, I've always been very grateful to the people who work behind the scenes to make all the magic happen, but this felt like one of those experiences where you need to see it and experience it to understand. And even though I was doing small jobs and looking from the outside in or just listening in on conversations and meetings from the staff, I feel as though I have much more appreciation for just how much time, effort, and thought goes on behind the scenes and how many people need to work together to make theater happen, even during a pandemic where there's no live theater happening. The pandemic has been especially hard on the theater community and for artists in general, so I could not be more grateful that I've had the opportunity to help out and give back in a small way to the community that I hope to be a part of for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexa. And feel free to drop the link in the chat for Open Stage so people can check out the upcoming in-person shows and maybe see some of your handiwork in person. Our next senior is Dominic.
Hi, guys. My name is Dominic, and my internship was more of a project than an internship. Because of COVID, I had a lot more flexibility, and I decided to choose like the independent project route as opposed to having a tight schedule of work. So I started in February and I finished about a week ago. And the hours that I amassed and the over internship experience can really be divided into 3 main parts. The bulk of it was tutoring. It was not formal tutoring at all, but it was really just instances where someone needed help in study halls and outside of school. And it wasn't necessarily always a one-on-one session, more like a one-on-many in some cases. The main subjects I helped people with were physics, math, biology, a little bit of SAT stuff because it was SAT season. And this took up about half of my hours. The second part was helping my sponsor, which was Mrs. Hart. She gave me a variety of guidance counseling topics that she wants to present to students in the future, say next year. And my job was to find professional sources from universities or like institutes for the topic she gave me and maybe find some material that she could use in the future. And the last part was actually designing a website on Google Sites for IB Physics and Math. Basically, it's just a place where students can find a bunch of resources that I personally used that helped me with the 2 classes. And there are also some strategies that I listed for studying for exams and the IAs. So a lot of IB stuff. It's got a lot of flaws, but maybe I can correct them in the future. But right now, hopefully it serves as a place just where future students can find useful links and resources that can help them. So that was it. That was the 3 parts.
Thank you, Dominic. And if you want, you can drop your website into the chat. I'm sure people would love to check it out. It's very helpful. I know will be very helpful to a lot of people. Our next senior is Devin.
Hi, I'm Davin, and I worked with Sprocket for my internship, and my sponsor was Jeff Kopus. He is our art teacher in our school, and I connected with him to find some kind of internship that had to do with art and incorporate art in it. And he is the co-founder for Sprocket Mural Works, so it was perfect for me. And their mission is to increase community pride and civic engagement in Harrisburg through creative action. And they are a citywide mural project that works with neighborhoods, artists, and organizations to create vibrant community murals across Harrisburg. And so they just recently moved buildings. So I helped with the transition of all their supplies and organization into the new building that they'll be occupying for the next few years. And I got to there's 2 things that I got to help with that were kind of cool. I got to help repaint a mural that was graffitied, and I got to help hand out paints for a flower pot painting project that they were doing in South Allison Hill with the community there. And yeah, I spent most of my time just in the building organizing all the paint and putting it in like a rainbow fashion so we could easily access it. And yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to work on any like big mural projects or get to experience that due to the timing of the internship and when they would be working on that, and because of COVID.
Thanks, Davin. I really enjoyed seeing the pictures you sent. The paint cans, that was a lot of paint cans, but I can see why, because the murals in Harrisburg are beautiful. Our next senior is Michael.
Hello. Hi, my name is Michael. I joined a cooperative called Comb, which was basically focused on making a social media application intended on connecting activists and social justice organizations in ways that they couldn't before. I was recommended to the organization by my sister, who was a founding member of it, and I essentially became a member of the cooperative. I was interested mainly because the entire organization was based on creating a blockchain-based social media application. I'm not going to go through explaining everything with that, but that was essentially the premise that interested me. Unfortunately, I didn't get to work on that part. They were understaffed in their business committee, so I ended up joining that. And that was interesting in its own right because a cooperative is a pretty non-traditional business, and it's still in its very early startup stages. So I got to work on designing a business plan for the organization, and basically it helped me understand the cooperative structure a lot better, which I didn't know about before, and taught me some pretty useful things about the early stages of a business. The entire organization was full of students from ages 17 to late 20s. And that was pretty useful because I was able to talk casually with all the members, but some of them, and most of them, were old enough to actually give me advice and useful information. So,
thank you, Michael. I was learning a lot from your journal because that's a topic new to me as well. Okay, next is Ulrika.
Hi, my name is Ulrika, and for my internship, I worked with an agency that helps Chinese students for their SAT preparation. So what I did is basically material organization. I just put each question on the SAT test practice under certain categories to help my teacher. So whenever if he has to give an example of specific type of question to the students, and it will be easier for him to find the question that he wants. And I also did a project to I made a survey about mental health of international students, but that did not really work out. So that was what I did.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay. And thank you everyone for sharing in the chat. It's great to see some of the projects and things that everyone is working on. So definitely keep sharing. Our next senior is Manya.
Hello, my name is Manya, and for my senior internship, I work with Lisa Hopkins, family lawyer at Purcell, Krug, and Holler. It is a full-service law office, so it has lawyers that practice a wide range of law and services including family law, estate planning, business, consumer, and bankruptcy law. They really do it all. I actually started working with Lisa Hopkins and the law firm last year. Every day I would have a conversation and a discussion with my sponsor, Lisa. It was very much a question and answer experience. It was like I was in a classroom where anytime I had a question, she would immediately explain it to me, and she would, of course, ask me questions to try and engage me as much as possible so that I could have a deeper understanding of the case or topic at hand and whatever it may be. Some of the tasks and duties performed had to do a lot with paperwork. Surprise, surprise. Lawyers have a lot of paperwork to deal with and go through so many steps and forms for the right outcome. Some days I would work on discovery, where my sponsor would give me a few cases, and discovery is really like the pre-trial procedure, where each party asks questions to obtain information and as much evidence as possible. She ahead of time gave me a book that basically explained all the different questions that are recommended to ask in the specific case. I highlighted and wrote in a document all the questions that would work for each case. Something that I was worried about going into my internship was really the legal terms and the law vocabulary that we all hear but have no idea what they're talking about. Before my time here, anything that had to do with law would go in one ear and out the other. And one thing that Lisa came up with to help me understand and familiarize myself with the vocabulary was that she would give me some legal documents, and I would have to go line by line, summarize each line, and explain myself during the process. My favorite part of my senior internship was really spending time with my sponsor, Lisa, and just chatting with her and having a discussion about so many different topics of law and so many different cases. I can honestly say that I enjoyed myself working with Lisa, and most importantly, developing a relationship and a deeper understanding with law, specifically family law. Thank you.
Thank you, Manya. Manya actually started working with them last year, taking advantage of the center's time, and I'm so glad that she could continue and build that relationship further. Okay, our final presenter is Chris. Last but not least. Take it away, Chris.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris. I had this opportunity to shadow and work with Brad, who is the head financial planner at Northwestern Mutual Mechanicsburg branch office. From Brad, I learned that the basic knowledge of finance, such that the more diversity an investment portfolio has, the less risk the client will take when it comes to invest, especially under the influence of this global pandemic. Brad also gave me several case studies that involves line of credit and business loans to find out the best ways of using loans in different scenarios. We also talked about how COVID impacts the finance industry and stock market, and nowadays what the safest way to invest now and in the future. It was a great experience, and I believe this experience will make a huge difference in my future career.
Thank you, Chris. That wraps up our presentations. I want to thank all of you so much for attending today, and to our seniors for sharing. They are just embodying everything it means to be an Academy student and part of the IB program, taking risks, being open-minded, really thinking. I mean, some of you are talking about reading books as part of your internship to really dig into the material. Communication, I think, was a big part of this for everybody. And I'm just so proud of all of you. Thank you again all so much, seniors. I look forward to seeing you on campus for convocation and commencement, and congratulations.